First, I should give you guys some context. My son's mom is from the Dominican Republic. There was a period where I pissed her off and she left here and went to live in DR. The problem is that she was here without proper documentation. Therefore, she couldn't just come back to New York City when she was not pissed off at me anymore.
The city of New York, Boricua from the Bronx.
She became pregnant with my son, who's now 22 years old. My son was born in the Dominican Republic. Now, at the time, she couldn't leave and come back to the US. So I made many trips to the Dominican Republic to visit my then wife and my unborn child. And of course, once he was born, I also made many trips over there to see him. That's the context to understand this story a little better. So during one of my many trips to the Dominican Republic, I once traveled from the capital, Santo Domingo, to a place called La Vega. Well, that's not really a big deal itself, but the story is that I didn't take a plane, a fancy bus, or some tour. I took this trip using what they call unofficial local public transportation. Portions of the trip were like these underground arranged vans and buses that take you places. So it's not like you're going to take a Greyhound or something. You're taking some sort of local, and it's not even like government or official. Let me put it to you this way. I remember being on a bus with a live chicken. I can't remember all that much from those days, but I've never forgotten the chicken when I think of this trip. When I think back to this now and some of the events that occurred, I realize that I took some highly unnecessary risks with my safety during this trip. I'll explain that as we go on. For one, I had no real idea what the hell I was doing or where I was going. I had only received some verbal directions on where to go and how to connect to the next leg of the trip. It's like I said, it wasn't like taking the MTA, but like this unofficial civilian run kind of route. Now, if I remember correctly, which I probably don't, it's kind of like that underground Flushing bus that you can take. Those of you from New York will know what I'm saying. It's this bus you could take from Flushing and you could take it to Chinatown. It saves you a hell of a lot of time on the commute. And it's not like official, it's kind of like underground. You know, it's like people know about it. It's sort of scheduled, but it's not a proper business. It's kind of underground. So during this trip, the whole time I was scared and I was like, I hope I don't get lost out there. It's not like I had the fancy GPS systems we have today on our phones. The second big concern I had is that I'm not a local, right? I'm not from there. So someone like me taking these unofficial routes, people know that. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I go to Puerto Rico and they know I'm not from there. During the trip, I had a few encounters with some sketchy guys who were testing to determine if I had my wits about me. Hey, tú estás perdido? You lost? Come here and talk to us. We'll help you out. Because I speak Spanish and because I've taken so many trips to DR, I could talk like I know what's up. Even though on this particular trip, whew, I had no damn clue. I was winging it and I was hoping that my directions were correct. Despite my appearance and mannerisms, when I talked to those guys, they believed that I kind of knew what I was doing. And mind you, this isn't like a Dominican thing. This very same thing happened to me when I was in PR, and I'm Puerto Rican. I was born there. But it's like I said before, they know that I'm not a local. So they try to get over on you as an outsider. They try to take advantage of you. It's like that everywhere. I mean, you come to New York, it's the same thing. You ain't from around here, you walking around, you look confused. People are sizing you up. It's just how it is in the streets, you know? I met up with my then wife on a different leg of the trip. and then we were going somewhere else. So I believe, if I remember correctly, we were going from La Vega to Bávaro or Punta Cana. I can't quite remember. Uh, yeah, I really don't remember. But in any case, we were on a bus and we encountered a situation that could have gone really bad. So there were some guys trying to hit on my ex-wife, and they thought I didn't understand them. They didn't think I speak Spanish, and they probably thought I was some kind of chump. When I've traveled to these Spanish countries, there's been a lot of situations where people think I'm a white dude, and they'll say stuff in Spanish, thinking I don't know what's up. I don't understand. One of them said, "What are you doing with that white boy? You should be with us. You should be with your own people." They were sitting behind us on the bus. So I rose up from my seat and stupidly, I think now, I puffed up my chest and I flexed on them. I spoke in Spanish and I spoke very firm and I was like, yo, back off. This is my wife. I'm not some chump. I'm not some tourist who you're going to punk and they're going to cry and they're going to cower away. Mind you, I was a tourist actually, but you can't be all like soft. You gotta, it's like wolves, you know what I'm saying? They sniffing and they're looking to see if you back off. I didn't. They tried to challenge me further as if to say, "Are you ready to die over this?" And I was like, "So what's up?" Now, mind you, I was much younger at the time. I'm not a hothead per se, but I have a problem with people disrespecting women when I'm with them. That really bothers me. And this isn't just a woman, this was my wife. So this is where I draw the line. And perhaps it's stupid of me, but what am I supposed to do? Let them try to disrespect her or hit on her or try to take her from me like she's some fucking piece of meat, some property that they could snatch? Nah, son. This is where I draw the line and I didn't back down. They calmed down and backed off. But honestly, I know this could have gone really bad, especially now in hindsight. But I think that sitting there in that situation and not doing anything could have also escalated the situation. I had a choice to make and I opted for the more aggressive option. Sometimes the wolf wants to see if you are a sheep or a bear. I can't remember all of the details of this trip, but I'd strongly encourage tourists or those who are not familiar with a country to stick to the beaten path. When you're visiting a foreign country, the risks of going rogue are far too great. I'm really not sure what possessed me to do this, what made me feel comfortable enough at the time, but all things considered, I think I was very lucky during this trip. I know some of my friends have taken these types of trips and gone off road and stuff. Some of them have gotten robbed. I mean, like I said, there's always a risk. So yeah, eventually I did make it to La Vega and I had a wonderful time there with my then wife and her family. They were very kind to me. We hung out, met people, rode rode like mopeds and motorcycles. It was nice. The country is a beautiful country. Don't let this story discourage you from visiting. This is not meant to be in any way, shape, or form disparaging to the country where my son was born, a place that I have visited more times, infinitely more times than my own country. It's a beautiful country. There's so much to see, so many places to visit. I'm just saying, be smart about your trips. I happen to take a very long full day trips while completely being unaware of what the hell was going on, what I was doing. And anyone who's has half a brain would know that that's never a smart thing to do in any country, not just the Dominican Republic. You shouldn't do that in Puerto Rico. You shouldn't come to New York and think that you're all goody goody getting on the train and going into the South Bronx and looking around and checking things out like it's all goody goody, anywhere. This isn't the first time it happened to me. At some point, I'll share how we got robbed in Bali. We had to pay a tariff to some men with machetes and machine guns. I'll share with you guys how a bus driver in Mexico turned the bus around because I was going to a place where he said they would probably never find me. Yeah. So It can happen anywhere. And it's never smart. It's always a risk. So you got to be smart about these things. And I haven't always been that smart in doing things. Sometimes I think I know this place. I'm good. The people will accept me. I'm okay. But don't be a fool, y'all. Take that damn public transportation. Take that Greyhound or whatever. And even then, there's no guarantees that you won't get robbed or whatnot. But at least you have a better, safer chance of getting to your destination than taking the route I did. Although some people would argue that you should live this way. So it's all on you. It's your choice. I'm telling y'all that this time I was very lucky. And hopefully next time, if I ever do something like this, I will be lucky as well. Thanks for listening.
You are listening to the NYC Talking podcast. www.nyctalking.com. Please like NYC Talking on Facebook. Please follow Angel R Talk on Twitter and Instagram. We are NYC Talking, the realest lifestyle blog ever. Thanks for listening.